Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday School. Hello, as you're jumping on this morning. Nice to see you. I am back. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm here. If you're dropping on now, just say hello in the comments, in the chat, so I can see you're here, and I can say hello to you. My name is Claire Perry-Louise. I am an internet business school coach, and we could pretty much call it Claire Saturday School because I'm always filling in for somebody. So today you got me, and we're going to talk about social media. So as you come on the call, let me know where you are, drop where you are in the comments so I can say hello to you. At the moment, I don't know where anybody is. So, and also, hello, Jerry. Guess who's back? Whoop, whoop, I'm back. I'm not supposed to be here, as we all know. But there you go. Ben's gone AWOL. Not really, but Ben's not here, so I'm here. But you are going to. Hello, Abdul. Nice to see you. Hi from Leeds, Philip. This is good. Get to find out where you all are. Andrew's back in the house. Hello, Andrew. Noel. Hello. Good morning from London. Nice to see you all. Thank you for saying hello in the comments. Otherwise, it's very lonely. Hi, Hazel. Yay, you're back. Hopefully, you got my PDF from last week. So as I was saying, I'm not supposed to be here this week, as we all know, but Ben's not here, so I'm here. So we're going to be talking about social media. Now, I would really love it if you had any questions about social media, because I'd much prefer to answer the things that are current for you. So if you do have questions about social media, make sure you drop them in the comments. Hi, Louise, nice to see you again in South Africa. Hi, Ian in Vienna. I went to Vienna when I was about 18. Years ago. It was very, very nice. Good morning, Leon. Who else to say? Hi, Gina. Gina, otherwise known as Noel. You sharing your account. So, hi, Ian. Nice to see you from Manchester. Hi, Alan. Yay! Got all my friends on here again. I know you didn't expect it to be me. Hi, Phil. But it is me. You didn't get it. I emailed you straight back, Hazel. You emailed me, didn't you? I emailed you back. So, Paul, or Skylar. Hi, Skylar from Nottingham. I was born in Nottingham. Where in Nottingham are you? Yay! Hi, Edward. Guess who's back? It's me. So, yes, just filling in as ever. So, we're going to talk about social media. If you have questions about social media, please drop them in the comments. And then afterwards, we have got my daughter wanted to hear her. Your daughter wanted me to say her name. Oh, okay. Oh, now I forgot. What's your daughter's name? Skylar. Hi, Skylar. You are in the best place. You are. You're on the webinar. Skylar in Nottingham. I was born in Nottingham, Skylar. Pretty cool. See, it's all coming out now. I don't live there now. But thank you for joining us, Skylar. It's nice to have you here. Excellent. So, hi, Pete. So Leon's got a question already. This is good. Leon's got a question. Is upleap.com safe to buy Instagram followers and grow an account? Well, I never think that, basically that will breach the terms and conditions of Instagram. And also the other thing is when you go and buy followers or buy relationships or buy anything, it never works out well in the end. And I really have this big thing about the fact that it's really important to build your communities and your social media platforms authentically and step by step by building those individual relationships. Because if your details were put on somebody's account, for example, and you were a follower on somebody's account, and you're not interested in that product, you're never going to engage in it, and that business owner is never going to get any value from you. So if you want to have vanity metrics, so if someone looks at your account and it says you've got 100,000 followers and you think that's a good metric, then if you risk doing that on Upleap, I've never heard of Upleap, but there's tons of them, then go ahead. But to me, what's the point of having 100,000 people who don't know who you are, or they're fake accounts, or there's no actual business sense to that. So it's more like the ego around it. So I don't worry about followers. I have a super small list for my community. At the moment, there's about 112 people on it. the engagement is over 60%. It generates income every single month, way more than my Instagram account does, which has got 1,000 people on, for example. So I don't go with that idea. So I know I don't think it is safe. They can shut you down. So yesterday I heard a story about LinkedIn, and on LinkedIn someone had paid for someone to make connections, and LinkedIn heard of it, and they got something like 100,000 connections, and they'd built it over 10 years. They had their whole business on it. So LinkedIn came back and they cut down the account, and the lady went to LinkedIn and she said, well, why have you shut down my account? And they said, because you've been doing this, like getting extra followers. And so they said, don't do it again, we'll give you this one chance. So she left it a couple of days and then she did it, and then LinkedIn shut down the account and said she hasn't got access for 7 years. To be honest, I have no sympathy for her. So there you go, Leon. So that is your answer, Leon, to that question. So thank you for that question. So good morning, Billy. Hello. So Leon, right, so you've got another question. This is good. If you've got questions about social media, I'd really want to answer them during today's presentation. So make sure you pop them in the chat, because that will make this more engaging. So should you outsource to someone to build engagement on Instagram? Well, why? What is your business objective? So today we're talking about social media, and we're going to talk, I'm just going to go briefly over the different platforms that you could be using. So my question first is, what are you trying to achieve from Instagram if you're using that? So if it's a branding exercise and you just want people to recognize your brand and you become top of mind and all the rest of it, then you could outsource it to someone to engage with people on your posts and find followers who are relevant and those kind of things. So yes, you can do that. If you want, because these things are very time consuming. So if you've got children, you could outsource to them. So I have a couple of children, and now they're older, they're very useful. So one of them is running my one of my Instagram accounts. Well, she was, I think she's on sabbatical at the moment. She seems to have not done any posts for a while, but anyway, she was creating them, and it's actually a really good thing, because she's creating a post on Canva, and we spoke about Canva last week. So yes, you could outsource it, but I just always do it in an ethical way. But I'm going to tell you about the platforms in a moment, and I don't know if Instagram is the best for everybody. So keep your questions coming in. Thank you for your question, Leon. Hope that answered it. So which social media platforms should we be using? Thanks, Leon. Let me know if you've got any more questions. Just keep popping them in this chat, because it makes it more engaging on here, like I said. So which platforms should you be using? So here are a few questions that you should be asking yourself. So the first thing is where is your target audience? So going back to Leon's question about Instagram. Now, Instagram is somewhere which I spend more money on than I make. So Instagram is perfect if you are selling clothes, for example, and products that, like those kind of things, and products that's really, really good for those kind of things, especially, yeah, clothes, because that's my experience. Who buys things off Instagram? Let me know. So if your audience is that kind of audience, for example, Instagram's a great place. Now, I used Instagram for many years, and people in your network get to see you through Instagram. And I'm not saying that it's not a bad platform, but I have moved to LinkedIn, and I think I might have shared this last week with you, that I have been posting every day since about the 20th of December. And I did a post the other day, and in fact, I've done quite a few, and the reach is like 2,000, 3,000. And to be honest, I'm not really trying that hard either. So if you could go onto LinkedIn and start building relationships on there, there's a really good organic reach already through LinkedIn, whereas that's not as easy on Instagram. So Edward is asking, Google hates duplicate content. So if you're using a buyer's testimonial on multiple sites, should you edit the original testimonial? So I don't think you have, I think in terms of hating duplicate content, I think that would be more around if you've got a whole blog post and then you pop it onto your website and then you copy and paste it onto LinkedIn, copy and paste it onto Instagram, copy and paste it onto Facebook, etc., etc. So I don't think you need to worry too much about that. But if you did a graphic and had it on there and then you had it as text, you are kind of using the same words, but you're doing it in different ways for different platforms. So I shouldn't worry too much about that. But you could just do a shorter one or that kind of thing. So that would be my answer to that, Edward. If you have questions, do pop them in the comments so I can answer them. Now, when you're choosing your social media platform, think about which one you feel most comfortable with. So it's all very well if you think, right, people seem to be on TikTok, let's get on TikTok. But if you hate being on video and you're not comfortable being in front of the camera and all the other things, there's no point being there because you're not going to get your best self out of that. So think about what you like doing. Now, if you're a photographer and you like taking photos, which would probably follow if you're a photographer, great example there, Claire, then Instagram will be good for you because it's visual and it's really, really good. And you can showcase your beautiful photographs and all the rest of it. But if you, well, yeah, so Instagram's great for those kind of things. So, and like I was saying, I've already jumped ahead without even looking at it. So what's the content you're creating? So TikTok, YouTube, great for videos. Okay, after me, Jeremy's talking about video content. So you'll learn a lot more about videos after I come on. But if you like doing videos, use the platforms where they're more prevalent. But it's always preference. And I think you just need to, especially if you're starting out, don't think you've got to do every single platform and nail every single platform. You're best just to lean into one platform, the one that appeals to you, maybe the one that you use already, because you're going to be more comfortable with all the different setup around it. So yeah, so that's kind of the questions you need to ask yourself. So let me know in the comments, what platform is your favorite platform at the moment? So if you just pop that in the chat so I can see, and we'll see what people are using. Instagram, excellent. LinkedIn, Ian, excellent. How long have you been using LinkedIn for, Ian? LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn. See, I've completely gone off Facebook. It's funny how you go through lots of LinkedIn's, or even YouTube. Edward, what do you get the engagement on Instagram as well? Let me know, that'd be interesting to know. So Ian, you've been on it 8 years plus, excellent. YouTube, yeah, Jeremy, I don't know what it is. I mean, I've worked with Facebook. I was like the Facebook champion, and I've got these Facebook certifications and community management and all sorts, but I've just kind of fallen out of love with it. And actually I heard on the news this week as well that Facebook, their shares have gone down. So maybe it's not just me. So this is something that's really important when you're thinking, always think about your business objectives when you're using social media. Yesterday I was reading a post by someone called Daniel Priestley, who I used to work with, and he said TikTok is evil for children. He just said 90% of the, or 99%, 90 was quite high. He said 90% of people will just use it and never achieve anything with it. So, but I'm not saying that you can't use it, and if you've got something that can sell. So I met a girl who was 22 at an event, and she was speaking, telling about the fact that she created this hair syrup, which you put on dry hair before you wash it, and she has built a whole business of tens of thousands of pounds in less than a year because she's used TikTok. So never, anything I say, don't believe me, go and investigate it for yourself. It's just my experience. So let's see, Twitter. Oh, we've got a Twitter in there. It's funny, I've never got into Twitter really. So it's interesting to see, Christopher, you use it because It is, one of the big platforms. Facebook and Instagram engagement slowed down. Moving over to YouTube. Okay, excellent. You're going to want to stay on for the rest of the session because you can learn some more, Leon. Edward, internet various engagement and likes from good photos and images to good content. Oh, that's brilliant. So if the platform's working for you, keep going with it. Yeah, I agree with you, Louise. LinkedIn is really good. I mean, you can't believe that you can get that much organic reach so easily. So yeah, I really do like LinkedIn, and I think it's changing a lot. They like content creators, so now's a really great time to get into LinkedIn because they help you. So they'll say, if no one's engaged in your post, they'll say, why not tag someone in to start a conversation? So they'll kind of give you the prompts that you need to keep going with it. So here's a tip. We spoke about lots of things like this last week, but make sure you've got your brand name secured on all the social media platforms. So if your name is, make sure you've got the social media thing for each one. So you can go to that website and you can check if your name is available. So I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if it works. Can you see my screen? Can you see does it say brand snag on the screen? I don't know if it does or not. Yes, you can. Excellent. See, I'm such a techie, aren't I? Whoop, whoop. So I've just swapped between screens. So social media checker. So if you've got a name idea, you can check to see if it's available. So we'll check a name. Anyone got a name we can check? Should we check somebody on here? Who wants to be checked? See if we can find you on social media. See if your name is available. Who should we do? Let's see. We'll just make one up. Just a breeze. Okay, excellent. Let's try. Just a breeze. Let's see what happens. Always dangerous when you do live demonstrations. Just a breeze. Well, I'll put some gaps in it. But it's available on YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat. Well, this is probably your company, Louise. So you need to get onto YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, Patreon, Etsy, and get it all tied up in case you need it in the future, because you might not want to be on these platforms now, but if you do in the future, or you don't want somebody else taking your name. So so there you go, tons of fun on there. Gaming username checker if you're into gaming, and domain availability checker. So here we are, all these different websites you can use to find out things quickly. So there we go. So that's my little tip. Let's go back now to my presentation. There we go. Hopefully you're all with me on the screen. If you can't see top tip, let me know. Keep your questions coming if you've got any more questions. I like the fact you're answering each other's questions as well. That's excellent. So let's have a look. So when you are on social media, what you need to be thinking about is what your profile looks like. So it needs to be well curated. So you want to make sure your name's in there, obviously, have a good photo. So nowadays you could just use, most people have got an iPhone with HD quality or an Android of some description with a good photo. So you get somebody else to take it. You can use Canva to take out the background, put a different background, that kind of thing. So I always say that it's a good idea as well to be consistent across the platform. So have the same picture on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. So that if people are swapping, then they can recognize it's you and you get that brand recognition. Graham, you put your hand up. If you've got a question, pop it in the comments and I will answer it for you. So have a clear section. I'll show you mine in a moment, and make sure you fill out all the sections so you can see. Be clear on who you are and what you're offering. So make sure you say what you do. So if you're a consultant, put that in the or you're a weight loss specialist or whatever it might be, have it in the bio so people know. have an appropriate username. So if you've got a brand, think of what kind of brand names, but if you've got your username, you don't have a catchy name, just put in your name. Like I said, profile pictures should be eye-catching and stand out. So don't just have you with your dog like from a miles away. Have a good, so you can really see the picture. And actually also make sure you update your pictures, because I have been to a few events and people have said, hi Claire, and I've no idea who they are because they don't look anything like their profile picture. So you need to keep it updated. Someone said yesterday that they'd seen one where the guy was 67 and his picture was taken when he was 51 or something like that. So he probably looked a bit different. So don't, you try and look like you do. Otherwise you might disappoint people. Yeah, like I was saying, consistency across the platforms builds brand awareness. And that's really important. So people get to know you, and then there's something like 7 touch points until people will start to build a relationship with you. So that could be they see one of your social media posts, or they go to your website, or someone mentions your name, all of those kind of things. So yes, consistency is really important when you're building up relationships on social media. So I will just show you a couple of my things. So for example, this is my LinkedIn. Hopefully you can see this. I'm feeling like confident that you can see it now. I've swapped between screens so effortlessly. So there you go. So picture. So this was a picture taken by a professional photographer, and then I used Canva, and I've got a red background. Seamless. Thank you, Jeremy. Seamless. Thank you. One day I want to meet you lot. I feel like I know you, but you just know me. I don't know you. So bearing in mind I haven't really been using this very long, you can see how it starts to add up. So like I was saying, the profile picture like that, use Canva, so it's got the red background. So if you find me on Clubhouse, or not that I use Clubhouse at the moment, but Instagram, anything like that, I think it's still the same on Instagram. Let's have a look. What we've got on Instagram, right at the top. Yes, there you go. See, I'm walking the talk. I'm not just telling you, I actually do this stuff. So, and then have this banner at the top, and have that something consistent with what you do. So I'm a speaker. One of the things I do is, so I've got the speaker on the brand on the top. You could have that sectioned off. If you use Canva, you can get templates that will fit, the sizing will fit. So make sure, yeah, we should, Edward, we should have a social, that's what we should. So then you can create a nice banner and you can speak and everything in there. So change it once a year, or probably every 6 months or so. Don't change your picture too often though, because you want to, like I say, build up that consistency. Now, if you're using LinkedIn, you can turn on creator mode, and I have creator mode turned on, which means that you can do extra things. So I have access to newsletters. You might too. So if you're going to do a post, you can create a newsletter through LinkedIn, which gets really good reach. So and then make sure your sections are filled in. So this is, for example, a featured section. So these are some of my newsletters that I've been doing, and they are in my featured section. Your about section, make sure you have that filled out, so people know what you're doing. And then experience, you can put your experience in this section, and make sure it's as full as possible, because then people can see your journey. So look, here's an old picture. Look, the team photograph from Internet Business School. Look, there I am on the front, all those years ago when we used to meet up in person. And now, although actually I think there might be a course at the end of April, Simon was saying. So here we go. So how the newsletter is doing? Well, it's amazing actually, because I only, like I said, I haven't been using LinkedIn for very long, and I've had the profile for a long time, but I haven't been regularly using it. So this was my newsletter yesterday, and I think I've got 189 subscribers already. And what happens is when you send out the newsletter on here, so I do a weekly one, I do it every Friday, it actually goes into the email box of people. So they will receive an email saying Claire's released the latest newsletter, Business and Community, and then they'll get, and it's written in their email box. So it's really, really cool. So I think it's all about consistency. And I actually approached this in a different way. So when I did LinkedIn, I thought I'm going to share the stuff that's important to me and let it come out. Because sometimes we stick in this procrastination because we think, I don't know all the answers, and what should I be sharing? And will people like that? I thought, actually, I'm going to share the things that are important and what I believe in, and then we'll go from there. So the newsletters are a really good thing. And I think just as I just started doing it, I think it's doing well, in my opinion. So yes, is the answer to that. So I definitely recommend doing that. And like I say, the engagement on the posts is ridiculous. So this one is one I was saying about. I just did this 2 days ago, and it's 2,213 views already. So that's a lot of views for someone who's not been on social media, on LinkedIn, using it regularly for long. So I definitely recommend LinkedIn. So like I was saying, set up your profile, make it look appropriate, and yes. And if you're using LinkedIn as well, that's another thing. I'm kind of jumping around, but do you see here it says linkedin.com/in and then Claire Perry Louise. You do that by going into edit public profile and URL. So you can go in here and then you can change your unique address. So if someone wants to find you on LinkedIn, that's how they find you. You can also add into there things like, if you were like Claire Perry Louise, internet marketing expert extraordinaire, blah, 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 you could put the whole thing in and that would be your URL. So that could be found easier in the search engine. So that is my little bit about LinkedIn. How do you set up creator mode? I think if you just go to, I think it's just, because mine says creator, I think if you just click on here to creator mode, and then you can just turn it on and off. And once you turn creator mode on, then you've got access to other things as well. So Graham, are you raising your hand because you're happy, or would you like to ask me something? You keep putting your hand up. I don't know what you want. Put it in the chat if you want something. Do you see here it says talks about culture, leadership, remote teams, team engagement, and community building. You can put your 5 hashtags in once you have creator mode on. So then when people are searching for hashtags, then they can come up. So if you have a hashtag in here, you can search for, what could we search for? We could search for marketing, I guess. Anybody else got a hashtag I want to search for? So you can look for marketing. And then you can see all the posts that have mentioned marketing, and the companies and all the different things around that hashtag. So there you go. Anyway, we diverge. So question from Serena. I'm trying to delegate my social media, but they asked for an access to my page access manager. Do you think it's safe? So I'm not sure 100% what they're asking for, but you can add on, I know on Facebook, you can add different levels of accounts as well. So you've got admin and then editor and all those kind of things. So there's that aspect. The other thing you can use is something called PassPack. And what's the other one called? Oh, this one. No, this one's the best one if you're working with people, is this one, LastPass. So LastPass is really useful because there's a free account. So it means that you can give access to someone and then you can revoke it if they're not working for you as well anymore. So LastPass is something to look into. So I don't know. I can't 100% say because I don't know what page access manager is. But the other thing is, if you who you're delegating it to, it does worry me a little bit. As long if you don't trust them enough to give them access. So another great password thing is Dashlane. There we go. Excellent. Thank you, Jeremy. Dashlane. Not heard of that one. Right. So that's that. I'm just going to take it that you're just happy, Graham, and that's why you're putting your hand up, because I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to you. I can't speak. Okay, let's have a look at some other social media platforms. So we've talked about Instagram. So we've decided it's a popular photo and video sharing site. So you can also create videos on there. We have someone who likes Instagram a lot. Who was that? I can't remember who it was. My page is stuck a bit. Let's see where we are. Oh, you just found him on the internet. I'm not sure that fills me with a lot. I don't think I like that idea, like delegating to somebody. You just found them on the internet. You've got no idea who they are. My best advice is, if you want to outsource work, is speak to people who can recommend somebody. So if you ask me about something, I'd say, well, how about, and then I could recommend them to you. Or so talk to your friends or other people you're in your community with and see who would they recommend. And otherwise you're just going to end up spending money out. And what do you want that person to do for you? So make sure you ask the right questions. Instagram, you can create targeted ads, which is great. And you can use stories and reels to help build relationships with your audience. So that's some of the good things about Instagram. But it does take time to build a following. And the content needs to be visually appealing, because that's the kind of platform it is. So, but reels are really popular on there, like short 1-minute videos. So if you want to get into creating those, you can spend lots of hours doing that. Yeah, that's about Instagram. Billy says, what title would you put for LinkedIn profile if you don't have a business yet but want to have one online? So I think it's really important that everybody has their own profile on LinkedIn. So I think you should open up your own. LinkedIn is saying you don't have a business yet. Well, it doesn't matter, because you should have your own personal profile on LinkedIn, and then you can have your own name on there, and then you can just start. And you don't, if you think, I don't know what to post myself because I haven't got a business yet, then think about the topics you're interested in. Or if you're thinking about going into a business in the fitness industry or something, start building up relationships with people who talk about fitness, who have their own gyms, who sell protein products or wellness things or whatever it might be, because you can then build relationships, comment on their posts, support their posts, share their posts, etc., etc. And then when you come into business yourself or know what you're doing, you've already built those relationships, and they will support whatever you're doing, hopefully, because you've built a relationship over them. So it's about giving value. So and building relationships. So I've done tons of these Saturday schools, and I've never asked for anything from my section. I've just come along and shared my expertise with you and tried to help you. So if next week I came along and said, oh, would you like to join a group coaching program or something with me, some of you would think, oh, that's great, because I've got to know Claire over a year, and I think, yes, I can come along because she shared a lot of value over the past. So you see how it can work up. It kind of like, if you go in, and this is what happens with a lot of social media, and especially LinkedIn as well, you get this thing like, hi, would you like to come and join my coaching? I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I'm not going to just join it. And you wouldn't walk down the street and someone just walk up to you and say, hi, would you like to buy this? You don't like it, do you? We don't like people ringing on our doors trying to sell us stuff. So we need to build relationships with people. Yeah, that's good. So that is good. LinkedIn is good. They do try to get you into the habit of using things. So if you are starting out with a platform, keep your notifications on your phone while you get into it. But always think about why you're doing it, because if you haven't got a real clear objective, if you want to raise your profile, for example, go on Instagram, share pictures, share things you're up to, share contacts that if you're speaking at an event, share that picture, all of those things, so they build your profile. If you have products to sell, you need to show your products. So if you're selling clothes, show pictures of people in your clothes, share your clothes with other people who've got communities on Instagram, for example. They can share your clothes, and then you can get into new markets by using other people. So just think about what your objectives are so you don't waste time, because social media can be a massive waste of time as well. So that's okay, Tim. Computers can be like that. I was talking about setting up an email, setting up a newsletter on LinkedIn. So to do this, you need to have creator mode, and creator mode allows you to do newsletters. So the way you do a newsletter, I didn't show anybody this, so I'm going to show you all, this is how you do it. So you go to, I say it so confidently, here you go, start a post, and then you click on create a post. I don't want to create a post. Write an article, that's what I want to do. So you click write an article, and then this is my personal profile, and then here you go. So I set this up the first time I went in. So here's my weekly the business and community newsletter, and then I could just create an individual article. That was normally what you do, but if you've got access to newsletters, and that's how you do it. And then you can upload a cover image, and I create one in Canva and upload it. Then you can write what you want in here and add anything you want, quotes and all those kind of things, and then press post and it goes out. So that is how that works. So hopefully that answered the question and showed you all a little bit more. Yes, we're going to go on to Clubhouse. Thank you, Jeremy. And actually, interestingly, on LinkedIn, they are beta testing LinkedIn rooms, which are like Clubhouse. So I'm going to talk about Clubhouse in a moment, but basically Clubhouse is audio. So you just listen, and then you have the opportunity to share whatever you want to share by opening up your audio and getting into the conversation. So it's good because you don't have to be camera ready, and you can listen to it. It is quite addictive as well. But you can raise your profile and meet people in real time, which is a good thing about it. So it's a bit like a live podcast. That's definitely a good way to describe it. Now, I don't think it does allow you, LinkedIn doesn't allow you to have a template, but if you have your own newsletter, you could just copy and paste and put it into their newsletter. So, or you could, so you could just copy and paste it and do that. So that would work for these. So Facebook, well established, been around forever, and you can get a business page on Facebook. You can advertise through Facebook, and you can also create communities using Facebook groups. So lots of people get all excited about, let's have a Facebook group and create a community. But if you've seen any of my previous webinars, you know that there's different aspects to building community and building belonging, and it's a process, and you need to think about why you're building that community, because community starts where you have a shared identity or a shared purpose. So a shared identity could be that you are marathon runners, or you are lawyers, or something else that brings you together as a shared group of people, or you've got a common goal. So maybe when they had GDPR, whatever it's called, I've said that, the legal thing that they've changed everything, and everything, all your websites have to be compliant. That's the kind of people could come together in a community about that, because they need to learn. They've got that joint goal to make sure that their business is compliant before it's all launched and all the rest of it. So and Facebook has put a lot of money into Facebook groups. They've been doing that for some years now, but you need to find out if your people are on Facebook, if you're going to use Facebook, because if they're not on Facebook, obviously it's not, your efforts are going to be a lot harder and you're not going to get the engagement. You can also share your posts on Instagram automatically with Facebook, so that can double up some of your time if you're doing it. But especially when I get these questions about outsourcing this and doing that, and it's all very well, but just really think about what you're trying to do. Like, I keep saying that because I've spent years in this space and I've seen lots of things, and don't put out 5 posts a day just because you think I should be. Yes, it's great to be consistent, but have quality content and have quality conversations, engage in other people's content, and build relationships like that, because just putting out loads of content and just going wild with content doesn't mean you're going to get business success. And I guess if you're on a Saturday school, you are looking to get some kind of business success. Yeah, one of the downsides of Facebook, as with all the platforms really, is people might not see your posts because of the algorithm. So no one really knows how your posts are shown in front of people following you or your friends. Generally, it'll be those people who engage with you the most. On Facebook, you can do things like you can turn it on so you can see people's posts first if you're interested in their content. So if there is content that you really enjoy, I would say that you should turn that on so you get to see the post first, because you're telling Facebook. And you can just go to, usually if you look at a post at the top, there'll be 3 little dots and you can click on there and then say, see these first, or make this person my favorite, or that kind of thing. So that is a downside. I mean, the good side of using Facebook or any of these platforms is notifications are available. So if someone mentions you, you are notified, and that's what creates that habit. And that's why social media is so addictive. You do need to create good content. Try a variety of content. Video is really great. We're going to learn more about that in a bit. But do different types. So on LinkedIn, the best engagement is written. And so a written post will get the most engagement, but LinkedIn wants more content creators. So they will probably give some weight to posts that have got video in them. You can do LinkedIn Live, that kind of thing. Think about, people haven't got all the time in the day either. So maybe you will do longer posts where people want to listen to you more, but maybe you have shorter posts where people can just get something from you quickly if they haven't got time to wait around. So that's some of the downsides of Facebook. So Twitter, I think there's only one of you who use Twitter. You can actually just look into Twitter. I was just looking at the questions. Oh, thank you, Janice. Janice says, did I do my LinkedIn myself? Yes, I did do it myself. But I think I've shown you a few tips, like get the profile picture great, get your written, what you're doing early on, and then fill in things. So yeah, I did it myself. So there's always those resources that you can look around for, or find people's profiles that you think look professional, and then get an idea from what they're doing, and then try and do something similar. Don't copy theirs, because then it never works. If you copy other people's, you need to be who you are. So if something feels more real for you, do it the way that you want to do it, because that's how you'll connect with people. Craig says, what do you think of using Facebook profile as a form of lead generation page to lead people to a sales funnel? I think all the platforms work really well to foster engagement. So I think especially utilizing ads, that kind of thing, you can start generating leads and then move them into your sales funnel. So I think as long as your audience are using Facebook, and that's why if you do any work around the social media and think about your business, firstly, you want to know who your target audience is. So like I say, if you are trying to sell clothing, then, and I'm your target audience, I do use Instagram more, not really for business anymore, but mainly I'm just looking at clothes, or I mean, I'm looking at a lot of clothes, but I'm just saying it's kind of a great place to show that kind of thing to me. In fact, it really depends what you're trying to do. If you're doing more business things, then maybe you can generate leads through building a newsletter on LinkedIn. So, but I think, yeah, it definitely depends what product you're using, what you're trying to sell, Craig. So, but I think all of the platforms have all got success stories. And I just think it's a case of finding the one that works for your business, and then really focusing, because often the results don't just come overnight, but it's from consistency and building over time. So I just said, I'm going to post every day, and I've posted every day since that date in December that I said. But I did it with the intention of I'm making this commitment, and then you build up consistency, and then you can start seeing how it's spreading, and I'm getting more people looking at my profile, etc., and more business leads. So another question. What is my take on LinkedIn surveys? Some people just ask stupid questions. I believe they're just trying to manipulate the algorithm. So surveys, you mean like those LinkedIn polls? I mean, yeah, some people do we do ask stupid questions. I would say firstly unfollow them because they're not your people. And I honestly genuinely believe that manipulating algorithms is not the way we want to be doing things. I think we want to be keeping in our own lane, understanding what we want to achieve in our businesses and focusing on that. So I think that there's a lot of tools available on every single platform which will engage. So Twitter, for example, you can do polls on there, etc., etc. You can engage your audience if your audience is on Twitter and if you are regularly using that platform. So just start with one platform, go from there, and then as you build up and go trusting that, maybe move to another platform and invest in there. So don't worry too much about that. But yeah, probably are trying to manipulate the algorithm. But anybody who sends me a message on LinkedIn just saying something, I had one the other day, like, you are awesome, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you don't know me. Honestly, I was like, I just wanted to reply, I'm like, yeah, I know I'm awesome, thanks. I'm just like, who thinks that's the best way to, like, if I just walked up to you in the street and went, yeah, you're awesome, just don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Okay, moving on. I mean, it's nice to say I'm awesome, don't get me wrong. If you want to message me and say I'm awesome, that is fine. But it's not the best way to build relationships, is it? I mean, it is, but it's too much. That's what I'm saying, it's too much. Can you build a Facebook following group using paid targets as ads? Yes, you can. And it's an excellent way to do it, as long as you know why you're doing those ads and you've got a sales funnel afterwards and you've trained yourself on doing Facebook ads. So yes, definitely. Danny says, can you explain hashtags? Can develop your own unique hashtag in some way? Thanks. Yes, you can. Hashtags are a way for you to follow content. So a hashtag is, so for example, on obviously I don't really use, no one really uses it's one of those pop-up things that says, I can't see the top of my page now, silly thing, it's I can't get rid of it. I've got this thing at the top that says how much the page is ranking and stuff, and I can't really move. But hashtags, I can't even see any hashtags on my thing, but did I put any hashtags on this one? So community building. So I started using a hashtag. So this is LHL community. So like-hearted leaders community. It's my community. I just made this hashtag up, see? And I put it on my posts. And so you can see that I made that hashtag up. And these are some of my posts around like-hearted leaders. And so if I was interested in like-hearted leaders, I mean, I haven't put much effort into this one, but it's just a good example. So LHL community, I just started using it. So people who are interested in LHL community can start following. Here's another one, community building. So this will be a bigger one. So more people use this. You want to get a variety of hashtags. So these people have been putting this hashtag, and it should, all this stuff should be about community building. Cannabis B2B conversations. Yeah, so you can see, like, you might put down community building as a hashtag. When you actually look into it, how relevant is it, especially on Instagram? It would probably be more relevant on LinkedIn. But if I wanted to, I could follow this post. So these would then show up in my feed on Instagram. So yes, you can, is the answer to your question. And on LinkedIn as well, using hashtags, they can really help you be found. So people talking about remote teams, or you can just search for them and find out all the relevant content about remote teams, and then engage with those posts. So yes, you can. Hopefully that answered that question. Let's have a look. So yes, you can, Danny. In answer to your question, you can do your own hashtags on different platforms. Right. Okay, excellent. So let's have a look. It's definitely not about manipulating algorithms. It's, yeah, creating genuinely useful, valuable and engaging content for actual people in your audience. That is totally true, Jeremy. And I think if you take something away from this, that is what you should be taking. So important. Okay, let's have a look. I'll go back to the questions in a moment. Twitter, pros is for short content. So it's a few 280 characters long. Use hashtags. I hope you understand hashtags. So hashtags about topics that you want to highlight or relevant to you. So community building or marketing. Some hashtags will have loads of people following them. Some will have less. Always sort of do a bit of a mixture. And yeah, you can have conversations actually with people you wouldn't normally reach, because especially with Twitter, lots of people are on there. It's been around for a long time, so definitely use Twitter to have real-time, like quicker conversations, because the content doesn't stay around very long. So it's short and to the point, and you can put graphics on there, but it's more for short form text and things, and you need to respond quickly, because otherwise it'll be gone out of your feed and you won't see it anymore. So we've already talked a lot about LinkedIn, and we have said it is a really great platform for business connections. And like I've been showing you, the organic reach is really super good at the moment. So now is definitely the time to get into LinkedIn. You can meet different people in broader industries that are connected. If you have a product that sells to HR managers, you can build relationships with HR managers. I would say do that by engaging with their content, answering things, commenting, liking their posts, etc., etc. And then people will get to know you. You can showcase things you've achieved in your industry through there. Recommendations are really good. So if you've done something or worked with somebody, or someone's given you some good training or something, then you can go in there and you can leave a recommendation, which is a bit like a testimonial. That's another good way to build relationships as well, because if you leave one for somebody, then later on you might spark a conversation with them because they've done something for you without being asked for it. So I think it was Alan. Was it Alan? Did you leave? Alan left me I'm sure it was Alan Edwards, wasn't it? Did you left me a recommendation on LinkedIn, which was so kind of you. I definitely think it was Alan. I'll check. I think it was Alan. Thank you, Alan. If it wasn't Alan, why didn't you? Just joking. Yeah, and you can set yourself up as a thought leader on LinkedIn. So I would definitely say go and have a look at LinkedIn at the moment. Yes, like I was saying, the inbox can feel very sales driven and inauthentic. Let's go more authentic, everybody. Let's make genuine connections. Don't just text random people telling them they're awesome, because it doesn't come over well. I mean, it's supposed to be a compliment, but it's just, I could tell from what they wrote underneath that they'd not even read my profile. So that made it worse. Whereas if they'd read my profile a bit more, then maybe it would have felt a little bit more genuine. It's usually more professional on there, but I think people are getting a bit more real in there. So you don't have to put your suit and tie on or anything like that. And maybe it's a little less friendly if we're going to be really critical. Pinterest. Who uses Pinterest? Anybody use Pinterest? So Pinterest. Edward and Alan, yes. Tell us about Pinterest. Tell us why we like Pinterest. I want to check now about my LinkedIn. So it's a great platform to give your audience inspiration, because it's very visual. Yeah, great for graphics, that's right. So use Pinterest for sharing your photographs. It's seasonal as well, so you can have things around Halloween or Valentine's Day or all of those kind of things. You can very much use it for those reasons. And you can link through to a blog post and that kind of thing. So Pinterest is really, really good. Yeah, just for browsing. looking for people to buy things. So just a consumer. Yeah, I know. I never really got into Pinterest, to be honest. That would be my thing on it. I'm trying to look at this thing about the recommendations. Let's have a look. Who was it? Let's have a look who it was. It was Alan. It was you, Alan Edwards. I knew it was you. Thank you, Alan. Alan gave me a recommendation on LinkedIn. It's very kind. See, and now I'm talking about Alan. See what I mean? Like, you doing things that are out of the ordinary make you stand out. So yeah. So Pinterest, you love Pinterest. Oh, that's good. It's time consuming. All these platforms are time consuming, aren't they? It's just like ridiculous. So yeah, plan in advance and do your seasons. So yes. YouTube, I'm not going to sit on this because Jeremy's going to talk about it in a moment, but it is the biggest video sharing social media platform. Massive opportunity to raise your profile. Simon, if you follow Simon on there, he's singing. Simon with 2 eyes. He's got so many people listening to his songs. It's massive. So, and you can earn money through it from ad revenue. Rick McMahon, who's got the career vids, he makes tens of thousands through YouTube. So definitely. CTR is click-through rate, Billy. So that's how many times people click through. Thank you, Paul. He's on it. Well done, Paul. Paul's on it as well. Cons are obviously these things take time to create well-edited videos. You might need to edit screens and cards to increase engagement. There's lots of competition and it does take consistency, but I'm not going to go into that because that's Jeremy's going to talk about this later. Snapchat, I think lots of young people like this. So it's unique and fun content. There's a lot of advertising on there, so they're the pros. Probably the younger audience have less money to spend, so if you're using it as a business idea, maybe not as great as other platforms, and content that's going to be really interesting to stand out. TikTok, again, it's one of the newer social platforms. I was saying about the girl who sells this hair syrup. She's done really well on there, but most people probably just use it to consume their time, but you can make lots of money from TikTok if you have the right product. It is usually should be less than a minute. And like, again, a younger audience, trends changing all the time, and it's time consuming. So think about those things before you go over the top. So Clubhouse, we touched on this earlier. It's an audio app where it's a social media platform and you can listen to audio on there. You can join rooms. So if there's a room about I don't know, vegetarianism or keto or something like that, you could go into that room and someone will be talking about keto or internet marketing, and then you can put your hand up using one of the buttons on the app, and then you might be invited to go to the stage, it's called, and that means that you can actually turn your audio on and listen and talk as opposed to just listening. And that could be, you could end up speaking to people who are really big influencers, and then people can follow you. So Clubhouse is audio. You can't post in advance and you can't show visual content apart from your bio, and it can be time consuming because you're just listening to it, it goes on and on and on and on. So yeah, it can just completely wipe out your day. So Clubhouse is just something else to think about and add it to your marketing arsenal, but don't really lean into everything because it can really take up so much time. Let's have a look. I think we've got all your questions. That comes to the end for my session. I'm just going to check the Q&As. Thank you, Trevor. Trevor answered Michael's question about Clubhouse. Yeah, excellent. That's a good explanation, Trevor. He's put, it's a platform for listening to content or general conversations on topics and where you can speak as well, or create your own room to host on your areas of interest. And you can build a community and following there, which is quite different from the other social media platforms. Brilliant. Yeah, that is exactly right, Trevor. So what feedback would you like? Or do you want to give feedback? So thank you, Virginie, for your question. Excellent. So thank you for answering the questions in the Q&A. And okay, excellent. So I think I've answered the questions now. So that's the end of my session today, of my extra session. We are going to move on now. Hopefully you enjoyed today's session. I know you weren't expecting it.